Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the Down Low with Joel Lowe and Mike Dorezzo. As you can tell, Joel and I are both wearing pink and red for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We're going to take a moment to talk a little bit about how you can get involved in and learn to build a career in cybersecurity and information security. We kind of wanted to take this as kind of like, how to help other people and people maybe underserved and figure out how to get in and everything else. So Joe, with that, why don't you introduce yourself, sir, as always? We'll start off with you.
Hey, I missed y'all. I'm Joel Lowe. I've been doing cybersecurity for 15 years. I always say, wow, it's a long time. In various different avenues, greenfields, things of that nature. Just happy to be here.
Great.
Mike?
Yeah, so my name is Mike Dorezzo. I've been in IT and InfoSec for about 15 plus years. Everything from small companies with no budget to large Fortune 10 organizations. We have different ways. Joel and I came from different backgrounds. We come from different ways and avenues to get in and everything else. So it is Black History Month, and we figured we'd love to help people out and to spread some of that information out. Like how did you get in? So why? Joel, let's start with why. Why is it important for, other people other than the majority of white men and everything else to get in? Why is it important? Right. So I'll let you take a crack at that, sir.
Yeah. So that's such a great question. I think that you need diversity, right? You need to have different opinions, right? Different views, different backgrounds. It helps you become better, right? It helps you look at the situation at a different lens, right? From a different lens. So I'm always a big component of hiring diversity, right? People from different walks, because when you're looking at a situation, you don't want yes people. Or one of the things you said earlier was, well, you're the boss. I must 100% agree with you that I hate hearing that, right? Like pet peeve, right? If we're having a discussion and we're trying to figure out our best way forward, and you say you're the boss, it would drive me nuts, right?
Yeah.
And I think you even point to the fact of like, yeah, I may write you up, right? It is writing up offense worthy, right?
Yeah.
Like I need you to come in with your viewpoint and let me know, right? I get better when you're like, hey, we can do that 100%, but I just want you to know that there's an opening here. There's some risk here. Or did you know that this company did this? Or with this decision, this is going to be this. So that I can say, oh, you know what? I didn't think of that. Okay, so with that, how do we move forward? What should we do? All right, and we find another avenue and find the best way forward. But you can't do that when everybody around you comes from the same background, right? You're gonna land on the same answer, right? And that's why diversity is so important. And you hear that in the landscape of everything. You want to have those different views, right?
Yeah.
To help.
It's not a crap statement. Yeah, and it's not a crap statement. It's not a hey, we're gonna feel good corporately, jargon. No, it's not. Yeah, I think, and you said it earlier when we were doing our warm up in the green room. You said, like, we have a green room. You said, I need challenge, right? We all need to be challenged, right? If the same problems having the same solutions changes nothing. Right? We need new solutions for new challenges. We need to be challenged. We don't grow as a species or as individuals unless there's challenge, and it's difficult, right? You're gonna have uncomfortable nights. You're gonna take little gummies for stress, not CBD, but just a little. You're like, that chili cheese dip from the Super Bowl, great game. Just didn't sit well because I'm thinking of this challenge and things like that. But you need that challenge, and you need different people that brings that in there, right? So you have a different background, you have a different approach, you have different motivations. We all do, right? And at the end of the day, it's not fair that we have the same things, that we have the same, that we come from different backgrounds. We should have the same opportunities. We should have the same available functions. And if you're willing to work for it, you're willing to strive for it. Not everybody's given an equal playing field. It doesn't matter. I wasn't born wealthy. I wasn't born anything. You weren't born wealthy. So we need to start off from different places, and that's it. So what's the fight in you?
And then you know what's so crazy is you have to be uncomfortable. Always agitation helps growth, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy to hire people that come from your background, that look like you, that you feel comfortable with, right? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't hire people, because you have to work with these individuals for a long time, right? You're with
That's true.
9 hours,
right?
You want people that you can vibe with, right?
Yeah.
But I also want people that are going to challenge me, right? Iron sharpens iron. So I want people that are always smarter than me around me, right? Because they make me smarter, right? But I also want people that come from a different viewpoint, right? That look at things totally different, that can say, hey, that out of box thinking that you wanted, this is what I would do, right? Here's this open source stuff over here that is doing real well, that will save us this money, and we can do this. And then I love, I do that. Like when I can pull one of those off, like, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me walk through that. And I can even go back to like when me and you first met. I used to have, like, I have those all the time when me and you talked. I'd be like, okay, no, I haven't thought about that. Or, I guess we could do that. Let's run that through. Let's walk that through. It's a beautiful thing when you can get your brain start moving, right? Versus when you don't have that and you're just like, oh, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do, and we move forward. Right.
Yeah. It's you never want to be the smartest person in the room, right? And nor do you want to be, you want to be you don't want to have a homogeneous version of experiences. You want people that have different varieties of experience. And that's what makes it worthwhile, right? I will say this, you are absolutely right. I hired one of the smartest guys I've ever met in penetration testing. Bless his heart, super difficult to get along with the other people on the team. And it's, you spend 40 hours or more a week with these people, which is more waking hours than you do your own family and your own spouses and significant others. And it's like, when you think about that, you're like, yeah, I really need to get along with these people. I need my family, my work family, to get along with each other. And my other employees would come to me and they're like, guess what this guy said to me? And I'm like, all right. And, he was young and he didn't understand that was inappropriate and everything else. And, I was a young, dumb 22, 24-year-old kid at one point in my career. And I'm sure I've said some cringeworthy things, probably to CEOs and vice presidents. But devil may care attitude only gets you so far in life.
You know what I used to have to do is I would shoot off an email. I was quick to shoot out an email real quick.
Ooh,
right?
And
somebody older had to pull me to the side. I was like, hey, I get that you're frustrated. Like I felt the frustration all in your email. And I'm like, no, just matter of fact. And they're like, no. There's a lot of frustration there, Joel. Like we can tell you wasn't happy with the situation. Like maybe just wait a couple hours before you send that out next time. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. It has saved me in the long run so much. Right. If I can give you any tip, don't send anything without first cooling down and coming back to it. Right. That's a clue, a message, a hint, right? A Easter egg. Just wait. Right?
And these are lessons I'm still learning to this day, right? We're always growing. If you know me, I've got a bit of a challenging temper sometimes, and I mean that's there's truth in that.
It's a passion. You're passionate about what you do, right? And my thing is, passion is such a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because you're so invested into it. It's a double-edged sword. So I 100% get that, right? I think too, when you talk about like what should you do, like certifications are important. And Mike, we were talking about that. So dive into some of the stuff of like entry level type certification and training.
Yeah, no, it's but even before that, Joel, I think you had a good point. We were talking like find people that do this thing, right? So let's say you're not in IT, you're not in security, you're not in InfoSec. Find people that are in that, right? And whether that's a family, a friend, LinkedIn, local chapters of ISSA, ISC squared, and ISACA. If you're a student, they have student rates to join, and you can join these meetings and meet people. It's a little difficult right now because a lot of those meetings are remote. But definitely reach out, right? And I certainly did it when I 20 years ago, I hit a ceiling and I was like, I want to do better. I need to learn these lessons that I wasn't instilled with because, I grew up differently. I went to, public high school and I didn't learn these things, didn't finish college. I started college young, but never finished. I finished later on in life, at the age of 35, but, yeah, I'm not old or older. But I needed somebody to kind of go, hand on the shoulder. Hey son, before you do that,
Right.
before you lick that battery again for the 10th time today, let's have a talk about why you should do that. So finding a mentor, right? And it's important. And I've certainly been mentored by I'm being mentored right now. I got a really great boss, who's very patient with me sometimes. And I ask questions like, hey, walk me through because you have experience doing this. I do not. It's important for me if I want to move into a role like his one day. I need to learn these things. How did you deal with that? And more importantly, why did you deal with it that way? What happens if you deal with it this way? Well, I'm glad you asked. Going down that road, you're going to fall in a hole. Don't fall in the hole. Don't go down that road. Go down this road. Great. There's one of the benefits of being a human is learning from other humans' mistakes, to save yourself the trouble. But you find somebody that can help mentor you. Joel, did you have a mentor in your career?
I did, and I still, he's retired now. We meet up all the time to have lunch, right? When he comes in town or when I'm in his area. And it was the best thing ever. He had so many years of experience, right? And so much patience. And now I'm trying to remember that as I mentor others, that patience, because I was a young, 20 something ready to conquer the world. And I would have to take notes and really like pause myself to ask questions. And I think even now, one of the things that is special that you said is you're still being mentored, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
Been doing this for 15 years plus, and we're still being mentored, right?
Yeah.
There's no age limit. There's no wealth of experience that's going to stop that, right? There's always something that you can continue to learn, and I love that about the growth and keep moving. But when you're young coming in, you definitely need a mentor, somebody that can really break this down for you and tell you the pitfalls, right? So you don't hit them. I wouldn't do that, right? That's a waste of money. You should do this, right? That can save you thousands of dollars right there and time wasted, right? Because you didn't go this left when you should have went right, right? So mentor is important. I think in everything you do, have a mentor, right?
Yeah, and there's differences between mentors and coaches and someone had mentioned that to me when I was at GE. One of the general counsels was like, there's differences between being a mentor and being a coach, and coaches will help you tactically, mentors will help you strategically, right? And there's a difference in that. Like I'm not very political. I tell you how I think, I tell you how I feel. I've worked through problems and everything else, and there's a political way to deal with things that everybody cringes. You're like, that's bureaucracy, and you're like, that's how the game is played, right? No one asks how the sausage is made. That's how the game is played. But you and I didn't grow up that way. I'm very tactical. I was very tactical. I'm a little bit more strategic now, but I was very tactical. I was we're going to handle this, going to take care of this, Like, stop for a second. That's the right answer for now, but it's the wrong answer long term. You're upsetting people, you're causing waves, you're creating friction, animosity. Don't do that. I'm like, but I can just solve this problem like this. Like, stop for a second.
Right.
Reaching out to that person. Well, I don't like that person. Well, reaching out to that person will gain you respect. And even if they don't like you, as long as they respect you, they'll work with you and they won't burn you because they know that you reached out to them for their thoughts and opinions, and that they believe and they know that you care about what you're doing.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And as a kid, I wanted to be right. I wanted to be the smartest person in the room. I
Right.
wanted to be this. And it's like, somebody, I was in the elevator once with somebody and they're like, well, you're like a superhero. Where's your cape today? And at one point, and my wife, she was a girlfriend at the time. My wife was in the elevator next to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm just here to save the day. She took that as a completely different. She was like, that guy offended you, and I was like, what? And she's like, you have a superhero. You're always there to try to save the day, and I was like, well, yeah, that's what I do. I've got, like, that's not the right way to do that. And I was like,
Right.
oh.
Right.
And my wife mentored me on that, right? She gave me that little, and so I married her because she's smart and beautiful and has terrible taste in men. But but that's happy Valentine's Day, honey. But that's an important lesson, right? So meeting the right people, getting lessons, getting training, pay it back, by the way. I took on mentors and everything else. I've in turn mentored other people, pulled them other people aside, whether they're in your department or not in your department, or just, hey, you have promised, you're just not there. Something hasn't, you didn't put the fuse in tight enough, or didn't screw that screw down tight enough. Let's work on that together. Can I help you with that? Right. No, I'm good. Okay, that's fine. Or how does this happen? So just, if you're going to use a mentor, you're going to ask for somebody to mentor you, please pay it forward. Because, we need to do this. All right, my friend, takeaways. You want to, anything else you want to add?
No, I think takeaways are good. I mean, so we talked about a mentor. We talked about getting a mentor. That's important.
Right.
I would say next would be using your resources, right? So what I mean by that is like Googling, YouTubing, to really find out more about specifics within the field, right?
Right.
So I always look through my LinkedIn, and I'm always answering questions of people who, hey, I've been working in this area for this long, and I'm thinking about cybersecurity. Right. And my next question is, well, what part of cybersecurity? Right. Cybersecurity is broad. It's a lot of stuff in there. So, on the policy side, like vulnerabilities or patch management or certification accreditation, pen testing, like what about that? Even from the network side, are you talking about the firewall? Like what in cybersecurity are you thinking about? Or nothing at all? But my thing is, first go do some research, right? Look at something. There's a wealth of information out there, free, that you can look at, right? Then last, right, for the third thing is then training, right? We're not sponsored by Udemy, but I use Udemy, right? It's a platform that's, you can spend, less than $15. You get a download a class from an expert, and they take you through different things, right? So when I don't know something very well, I'll go buy one of those classes and listen to it, right? So I can sharpen myself. Also, podcasts. Oh my gosh. There are millions of podcasts like this one, right? That you can listen to,
or better,
or better, right? That you can listen to experts talk about certain things within that field, right? And I listen to a few that I love, right? That I always get a little gem that I'm like, ooh, okay, and I write that down, right? To either research later or to say, okay, that's a great thing. And my other thing is, like, one of my big passions is not only get mentors within minorities within the cybersecurity field, but women. What we don't have enough of is women in this field, right? So anytime that I can hire a young lady or a woman within this field, I'm all on it, right? Because one, again, that changes the dynamic of my team, right? That's a different viewpoint, and I want to grow this field, and I want it to look and reflect the world that I want to see, right? So that's huge for me. I just wanted to make sure I threw that out there.
You have a little girl, right? You want to make sure that the world is a better place when she grows up into it, right? So that doesn't happen organically, right? No. You got to care. You have to care. And to be honest, to your point, Joel, that's what I get more out of women sometimes and minorities is caring. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to be the smartest, the most experienced. You just have to care, right? Please, just and you can't instill that. I can teach you how to write a policy. I can teach you how to manage incident response. I can teach you how to do patch management and asset management and identity access management. I can't teach you how to care. Right. And throwing money at you is only going to make you care about whoever pays you the more money. Right. And, you know, it's important to know that money's not everything. It's important. It pays the bills and it keeps the lights on. And yeah, it's quite important, but it's not the only important thing. Right. So, do you have any podcasts that you,
I would even say, even not to cut you off, but even with the caring, I would also say a hustling mentality. Like those two together will get you so far, right? Caring about what the work you do and the quality you do, and really being passionate about it. But then that hustle, meaning I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get this job done ethically, right? I'm never gonna say go out and do anything unethical, right? But hey, if that means I gotta stay up and study all night so that I can come in the next morning to help solve this problem, or the incident happens on a Friday at 4:30, which always happens, right? It's never on Monday at
holidays.
It's always right before a holiday, right when you're packing up, something hits the fan, right? And that person is like, I'm here. And they take their bags and they drop it down and, hey, we're going to work this out, right? Versus those who were like, hey, I got to go. I got plans. I can give you 30 minutes, right? Really understanding that hustle. Oh, I love hiring people that are passionate and have a hustle.
Well, you know, and to your point, when Arnold and I started the security consulting practice, you know, he laid something on me when we sold our first you know, security risk assessment. He said, do you think this is worth the money this client paid for it? And I was like, ooh, that was such a simple line he threw at me, but it was like, no, it's not worth 40 grand. Let me go ahead and make sure it's worth 40 grand. And I worked on that thing all weekend, came back Monday morning and said, all right, man, let's take a look at it. And Arnold and I looked at it. He goes, wow, this is a lot different. This is a lot better. You covered a lot more information. You delved into it. You've got good things that they can copy and paste into a PowerPoint, you know, to show senior leadership and owners and things like that. And I was like, yeah, but it was such a small thing that just triggered you. Right. And so, you know, Arnold, if you're out there and you're listening, man, thanks for those lessons and coaching me and everything else. So, but yeah, so, all right. So get a mentor, find somebody who's in the industry who can kind of share some of their experience. Don't just take that information and walk away. Take that information and research it, right? 15, 20 years ago, when you and I got into IT, you could be a Renaissance person, right? You could be IT and do everything in IT. And I've done everything in IT just about up until a point. And then the game changed. Right. Around 2005, and you had to specialize, and, you know, like, what do I specialize in? You're like, well, I don't know, man, but you got to pick something. And so I did security, and then security just kind of got a little bit more. So, you know, talk to people. What does that mean? You're in cybersecurity, but what does your flavor of cybersecurity mean? And then finally, you know, get training, right? Nobody walks in and just says, I'm going to do this. I didn't know how to do pen testing. I read everything I could. I played with everything I could that was free. And then when I got better and better at it, I moved up and paid for things like Udemy and other things like that. I bought books. I paid for books that I couldn't afford, you know, while I was working at other things. That's important. You know, and you have to be relentless in your pursuit of knowledge and experience. And it doesn't matter if it's cybersecurity or IT, you always have to be learning. That's why they're continuing professional education requirements for certifications, because they expect you to keep being challenged and keep learning. So I think having that certification, you know, getting a degree is important at some stages, depending on where and what you want to do with your career. For some things, it's not necessary. I mean, you and I talked about, I was at General Electric and I was the only person in the building who didn't have a bachelor's degree. At the time I was going to University of Richmond, you know, and getting my degree, but I just started back up. I was 60 credits into a bachelor's when I restarted my college career at 32. So, but you know, I went and got certified. I went and did this. I had the experience, and that's what helps. All right, Joel, any closing thoughts, sir?
They say knowing is half the battle, right? G.I. Joe. Right. So now that we know, let's apply it and do better. And again, ask questions. That mentor thing is huge, right? Because they'll help you with guiding you on that path of answering some of those questions of, hey, I have a degree. Should I go back to school and get a degree specialized in cybersecurity, or should I get certifications, right? Which is a common question that comes up. Or I have no degree. Should I go to school and get a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity or IT, or should I get certification, right? And really answering those questions and figuring out what's best for you. So that's my takeaway.
All right. Okay. You always say knowing is half the battle, but what's the other half? It's just
I would think applying, right? Learning from it, right? Applying what it is that you know, right? Learning from it. I don't know. G.I. Joe never told us what the other.
I know they only gave us half the tools with that. Hey,
knowing is half the battle. I guess you can plan once you know it, right? You can.
Is it executing is the other half of the battle? Kill everybody like God sort them out.
I just never thought about that, but that's a great question. Doggone it, G.I. Joe.
Things I should have asked more. Ask questions. By the way, everybody out there, ask questions. And don't be afraid. And it irritates some of my employees and coworkers and supervisors and bosses, but I ask questions. And I'm not afraid to be the stupid person in the room to ask a question, because some people will have the same question and are too afraid to ask. And they're like, I'm risk adverse. So I need to make sure that we're all on the same table. We're all on the same page. We got to ask the stupid question. When you said this, are you inferring that this is a known,
Right.
Yeah. Does everybody agree with that statement? No. All right. Well, it's not a stupid question now, is it? And sometimes I do ask stupid questions. Like, there are stupid questions. There are ridiculous questions. Like, why the hell did you ask that?
They're special questions, right?
They're special questions, right?
I won't say anything is a stupid question, but there are some that are special where you're just like, okay. Like we might have put that offline. Like you might want to text me that next time, right?
Right.
Hey, it's not a bad question. It's just special. That's a little different. Hey, we were talking about this, and you just okay. Hey, let's table that. You hear that
parking lot.
Hey, you hear people say when a question comes up that's special, this is how you know it's special. They'll say, let's handle that offline.
Right.
Right. You hear let's take that one offline. That's usually a special question, right?
I see what you're asking there. Let's go ahead and put that in the parking lot.
Let's hold that off real quick and stay with this one. We're going to come back to that, right? That's how
Focus
you know
on this
special question, right?
Your stuff we're going to put over here.
Right.
We're all going to keep marching in this way. All right. Well, hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we've cracked a smile on your face. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach us out. If you like the content, please hit the like button and hit the bell to subscribe. We try to put one of these out every week, every other week. We're going to get better. And if you have things that you want to cover, and questions or things like that, please don't hesitate to put that in the comments. And we'll see you next time. Joel,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.